Welcome back to take two. The first video I did about the lessons learned and some mistakes really turned out to be too long. I went into too much detail, so I'm going to make this one a much quicker rundown of 6 items that I have either observed or learned myself that are lessons learned from years of open road racing. So number one is not reading the rules, especially if you're brand new. Read through the rules. You don't have to commit them to memory, but at least understand what they say, get the premise of the race, and then go back and take a look at the division and specific speed class you're going to select, and make sure you understand which ones you're able to select as a rookie, especially. But read through that, and then even think about printing out the rules that apply to your class you're going to choose, and take a pen and mark things off like a checklist. Make sure you've got everything properly in order. Make sure you've got things that are up to date. Sometimes depending on the date codes on your tires or your safety belts or what year and generation of helmet you have, there's certain things that can be gotchas when you get out there, and you don't want to find out when you get out there to one of these open road races that are typically in a rural setting, that all of a sudden you don't have what you need, because that's going to cause a lot of stress you don't want, and possibly trip you up in tech. And the tech people are there to help you. It's your responsibility to be ready. They're helping you check and make sure you're ready. And if you're not, they're going to help you understand what needs to be done. After you read the rules, the next thing is to realize that this is not track racing. There's absolutely certain car control and car driving techniques that you can understand and apply into the open road racing, and I'll get into that. Next is your tires. So you wouldn't neglect the tires on your car. And when you get ready for tech, there are very specific specifications about the age, the rating, the speed rating, the load rating, the size, all that stuff about your race car. We'll do the same thing with your tow rig if you're towing a race car out there. You wouldn't want to neglect the tires on your tow truck, and you shouldn't neglect the tires on your trailer. I myself, the team that I race with, we joke that we have tire gremlins. And there was one year, I think we blew collectively 8 tires, either on the way or while we were out at one of the open road races. So, typically the OEM tires that come on some of these mid-range and lower range trailers, they're not made for high load, high speed, anything like that. And granted, you're not racing with your trailer, but you've got your race car in it or on it, and you don't want to have a blowout and lose control or damage the trailer, damage the car. So when you're coming out to an open road race, set clear objectives. Make sure you already know. Are you just coming out to be with like-minded people and have a good time and drive fast? If that's the case, great. It's going to be easy to do, because once you get behind the wheel and you drive fast, there's part of it, and it's going to be fun. So there's the other part of it. You mission accomplished. If you're coming out because you're really competitive and you want to win a trophy, that's a little different story. It's still going to be fun, but you certainly have to have a strategy, and you have to have a winning strategy. And there have been first timers that come out and end up on the podium. There's a lot of veteran racers that are running some pretty impressive, accurate numbers that are down to the hundredths, or in some cases, thousandths of a second off of their target time. Understanding target time and understanding tech speed is something else too. So there's a target mile per hour that you're aiming for to hit perfect. There's even minimum and maximums you can run, and then there's your tech speed. And the tech speed you cannot exceed in whatever speed class you're in, because if you get caught, you get disqualified. Next is to bring a car that you enjoy, something that you take some pride in, you're familiar with. If you bring something out there that's just kind of a clapped out, beater car, you're probably not going to be as careful as you should be, and things might not go real well, or you may not have taken care of the car to prepare it as much as you would some other cars. So I'm not saying, bring out an irreplaceable car or a car that's a family heirloom. You will see some really cool cars out here. There's, of course, a ton of Corvettes. They're just fast right out of the box. But you do see a lot of unique cars. But what I suggest, and this is from personal experience, I've gone through many different cars in open road racing. In fact, if you have raced with me, you know me, I would challenge you down in the comments, see if you can guess how many different cars or cars and trucks that I've raced in open road racing over the years, and we'll see who's the closest. But on that subject, again, bring something that you take good care of, that you have some pride in, that you're familiar with. You want to know what the car is going to do. When you're coming into a corner and maybe you come in a little bit hot, you need to know, is that car going to push? Is it going to snap loose? What's it going to do? And you need to be ready for that. So the more familiar you are, the more seat time you can get, going to be a good better too. And this is where I would wrap it up with this last one. It's trust your gut. So I could tell you many stories from personal experience and other people conveying their stories to me. You want to trust your gut. And somebody very wise once said to me when I was having some nerves before a race, they said, when was the last time that you ignored your gut and it turned out well? And I mean, that gave me chills, because it's true. That's just the way it is. And so there was some last second changes and everything was fine in that race, but I didn't race in the class that I had initially signed up for, nor was I in the vehicle I had signed up for. I just had to, wasn't willing to take the risk and not trust my gut. So trust your gut. If something doesn't feel right, if you hear something, you smell something in the vehicle, or something just seems out of place, don't take a chance on tearing your equipment up or hurting yourself or damaging other people's property or hurting someone else. Live to race another day. There's been times when during practice or qualifying, people have had issues. Pull over, stop, be safe about it. And then once things are sorted out, you can continue on. It's not the end of the world. Now, during the race, if something is happening and you feel like it's unsafe, the smart thing to do is pull over. So when you pull over, unfortunately, because of the nature of the race, your race is over at that point. But again, which would you really rather do if it comes down to it? If somebody came and said, you have a choice, you can sacrifice your car because you went full send, or you will be warned that something's happening. You're going to smell, feel, hear something, and you can safely pull it over and have no damage and just take care of whatever the issue is later and come back and race another day. I think I know what the answer is going to be. So if you enjoyed this, I hope you're following the channel. Feel free to like and share and put comments below. I'd love to get some feedback on maybe what episodes or what topics you'd like to hear in the future. And again, if those of you that have raced with me for a while, if you can guess how many cars I've raced out there, I'll give you a big like and a pat on the back, and we'll see you again soon. So the next episode is going to actually get into the most recent road race that we had, the Big Bend Open Road Race. We're going to have some footage and pictures from leading up to the race the days before, and certainly some good in-car footage to share. So thanks, and we'll talk to you again soon.